Hey everyone, this is Michael Dougal, the nootropic reviewer, and boron is a nutritional supplement that individuals have started to use to actually increase their levels of testosterone. One individual mentioned that they had used boron for 6 months and they actually saw a 10% increase in their testosterone levels. And another individual mentioned that 4 milligrams of boron every single day took their libido through the roof. And I would love to tell you that I had that same experience, but I certainly did not. I found other natural testosterone boosters much more effective, like Tonkat Ali, which I've talked more about in this video over here. When it comes to natural testosterone boosters, the unfortunate reality is that most of them don't really do much for you, and you're more likely to notice some of these natural testosterone boosters working if you're somebody with lower testosterone levels. Some other boron benefits include increased energy levels, better strength at the gym, helping with anti-aging, and where most of the research is done on boron is its benefits with respect to bone health. And I've always looked at boron as a nutritional supplement that may be suitable for people that aren't getting enough boron in their diet, but assuming you have a healthy lifestyle, you're eating well, you may actually be better off not using the supplement. So we're going to take a look at the benefits of boron, the side effects, and how to properly consume this nutritional supplement. And if you're unfamiliar with boron, you'll be happy to know that this is a naturally occurring compound. It's certainly not man-made. It's found in water. It's also found in plants. It's found in soil. And something interesting is that boron is actually an essential nutrient for a lot of plants to grow and make sure they have a healthy livelihood. And it's been said that the average individual is consuming 0.86 milligrams of boron from their water intake each day alone, and they're consuming an additional 2.5 milligrams from the foods that they're consuming. And looking at this chart here, the foods that are richest in boron, we can see the leaders being prune juice, avocado, raisins, peaches, grape juice. And most of the research supports the fact that boron supplementation will be more necessary for individuals that aren't eating some of these foods or may not be drinking enough water, because likely their boron levels will be on the lower side, and this could affect things like sleep, energy levels, testosterone potentially, and even the likelihood of getting specific cancers. As for this study here, they mentioned that preliminary evidence suggests that dietary boron intake might affect cancer risk, and they found that individuals that were consuming boron had an inverse relationship with having prostate cancer. And they found that individuals that were on the lowest quartile of boron intake had almost twice the risk of lung cancer versus those in the highest quartile. And I've been supplementing with boron over the past 4 months, although I haven't been doing it intentionally. Like if you were to get the boron capsules, you'll typically find them in a 3 milligram serving. Although I found that boron is a common ingredient in a lot of the popular multivitamin products, as well as productivity boosting nootropics. For example, Quality of Mind does contain a solid serving size of boron, and there seems to be an interesting synergy between boron, magnesium, calcium, and vitamin D. So it's been said that if you were to consume boron, it will make it more likely for your body to be able to absorb some of the other essential ingredients, and there's plenty of research that's actually supporting this. Most of the research done on boron has been done with respect to osteoporosis and bone health, but we're starting to see some emerging evidence that it may potentially help with anti-aging, and it's starting to actually be studied as a compound that may help the degradation of the brain, specifically during Alzheimer's. But what about testosterone? What about helping with cognition for the average young individual like myself? That's where I'm a little bit skeptical about boron. From my experience in using the supplement, I don't really notice anything from it, and I'm somebody that's very sensitive to supplements. And my perspective on supplementing with boron is similar to how I feel about supplementing with magnesium. For me personally, I don't notice anything from it, but other individuals, they swear by the compound. They swear that magnesium helps their sleep or helps their energy levels. So if you're somebody that maybe is going through something stressful in your life, maybe you need to get back on track, maybe you think, okay, my energy levels aren't just right, it doesn't hurt by trying boron, then boron may be a suitable supplement for you. But with respect to testosterone, I think that a lot of individuals haven't actually read the research properly, because we don't have any signs showing that it increases testosterone levels, although at the same time there's testosterone boosting blends, and they ensure that boron is a key ingredient there. And some of the manufacturers of these blends are a whole lot smarter than I am, so maybe they're using boron for a good reason. But let's see what the research has to say about testosterone. And I was really excited to come across this study where they actually used boron on bodybuilders, although unfortunately it was a very small sample size in this study. There were 10 individuals that were consuming 2.5 milligrams of boron, and there were 9 individuals that were consuming placebo. And to evaluate the effects that boron had on the individuals, what they did was they had them consume the supplement for 49 days in conjunction with a resistance training program. And the study concluded after 49 days that the individuals that were supplementing with boron saw no noticeable difference versus the placebo group. At the same time, both groups did see an improvement with their testosterone levels as well as their levels of strength and fat-free mass, but this was because of the resistance training, and it wasn't because they had supplemented with boron. So I would love to see a study like this done on more people over a longer stretch of time, because maybe then we could see the difference between the boron group and the placebo group, although in this case the difference between the two groups was negligible. But now let's talk about some of the side effects with boron, and I wouldn't be too concerned unless you're having a serving size every day that exceeds 10 milligrams, and I don't understand why somebody would do something like that, even if they're using boron to prevent a potential sickness. Some of the side effects that have been found in studies include vomiting, nausea, diarrhea, rashes, headaches, and it really surprised me that none of the studies had actually found this specific side effect. But when you look at anecdotes online, the most common side effect you'll likely come across is actually issues with respect to sleep. Individuals mention that they're not able to sleep as much as they would like. They mention that it's harder to fall asleep. So if you already sleep like a baby, or you found like the right supplement stack to optimize your sleep, then I would be careful about adding boron to the mix. And with respect to the serving size, 3 milligrams once per day seems like the best practice for individuals to follow. And I would also recommend that you take some time off of boron. You can try it in a fashion of taking 2 months on, followed by 1 month off. And something great is that it's a pretty flexible supplement. It doesn't matter whether you take it at the beginning portion of the day or at the later portion of the day. It also doesn't have stimulating effects, meaning that if you prefer taking your supplements at the later portion of the day, that's perfectly okay. And I personally don't plan to use a supplement by itself. Like if it's in one of my nootropic blends or if it's in a multivitamin, I don't have an issue with that, but I don't see any need for me personally to use boron as a nutritional supplement. And hopefully I'm getting enough through my diet, and hopefully you are too. Make sure to stay hydrated and eat well. And I would love to know your thoughts about boron in the comment section below. Do subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and if you want to chat with me one-on-one, you can message me on Patreon. And be sure to visit our Discord server where we have a 24/7 chat room. We're having a whole lot of fun. I thank you for your support, and I look forward to seeing you next time.